started with only two endpoints, our session endpoint and the profile endpoint. But to make this app a little bit more production realistic, I've added the user API, analytics API, and the activities API. This way, we can assume that there are different clients that are calling these API, such as you have the mobiles client that is calling the users and activities API, and you have the desktop client that's calling the users and analytics API. At this stage, what we have is called a monolithic application, where you have everything added to one single code base. Since in this case, we're only dealing with demo code, these are just a few lines of code. But imagine a production environment where you have tens of thousands of lines of code. You have multiple team members all writing to the same code base, and this code base is eventually going to grow. Imagine the headache you're going to deal with when you have all these merge conflicts coming in. Aside from that, there is another issue, which is scalability. What if, let's say, now the traffic on your user's endpoint increases? The only way you're able to manage that particular traffic is by scaling up your server. You don't have an option of scaling the user's endpoint independently. If you scale the whole application altogether. So to fix the scalability issue that we're having, we're going to break our application into two different applications. The user endpoint that we have can go into its own server. We'll call it the user service. And the activities and analytics API that we have can go into its own code base, and we'll call that activities or analytics service. This approach of breaking things for scalability purposes is called microservices architecture. Now we have divided our application into two different services. We have our user service on one hand and analytics and activity services on the other hand. Now you have complete autonomy on what particular application service that you want to grow. If you have one of the code base, the user service in one machine, and the analytics and activities API service in another machine. And if you know that majority of the traffic is coming from the user service, then you can scale that particular machine independently of the other services.